Well, hello there, everybody. Do not adjust your phone. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is a new YouTube video from me. Hopefully this doesn't look too bad. Hi, everybody, or I guess should I say welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from across all platforms to... I don't even think I have a title for this anymore. I have not made a YouTube video in an awful long time, but that's right, it's me, Menji. I'm back. We're on a YouTube, I guess. I mean, if I'm going to go out of my way to make this video, then I should probably put it on YouTube along with everything else. If you've been paying attention to this YouTube channel at all for the last few years, you'll notice I've pretty much devoted any online time now primarily to streaming now. I do live streaming on here and Twitch and TikTok and Kick every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Short little plug there for you. And so most of those streams get saved on YouTube, so you can watch those anytime. However, there is a stream that I recently did out here. Where's here, by the way? We're in Arizona. We're back in Arizona. I'm trying not to step on other people's toes while I say that, but obviously I did film a video a long time ago out in Tombstone, which is just down the road over this way, kind of, sort of. A long time ago. I've been back to Tombstone many a time since then. Even made some friends. So, been interesting. But recently, I've been doing a lot more live streaming, and when I do come out to Arizona, which is far more often than you think it would be, I have been live streaming for my Twitch audience. And so recently we did do a live stream in Tombstone, and everybody liked that. And so, as much as I love Tombstone, I didn't feel like everybody wants to see Tombstone each and every time I come here. So, my initial plans was to come and check out a spot that was recommended to me by a friend of mine. But when I got here, I found out that there was no internet. I tried to scout out the location ahead of time, and it just that didn't work out for a bunch of reasons. So I decided to do a live stream from the town of Bisbee instead, which is about an extra 40 minutes in the same direction. Tombstone that way, Bisbee. And so I did that. Unfortunately, because I was live streaming on the phone, that couldn't go to YouTube, but I will be putting that VOD up probably around the same time this goes up anyways. But I decided to come back here and just film this place like I would have in the olden days, like an old YouTube video, so that I could show that to my Twitch audience, and figured, well, if I'm going to make it, let's go out of our way to actually make it. So where the hell am I? Well, I'll tell you. We are at the historic town site of Fairbank, Arizona, an honest-to-goodness ghost town out here in the middle of nowhere, right off the Highway 82, question mark? I think it's Highway 82. It's a fairly desolate road, but one of the many roads you can use to get to places like Tombstone and stuff. And so this was an actual town that once prospered here during the great silver rush of the 1800s, and a town that was made prosperous by everything going on in Tombstone. And so now I believe what it is just a bunch of abandoned buildings and things left over from the olden days. I'm doing this on my phone, so hopefully I have enough memory to record everything that I want to do. It's probably not going to be as long as my other videos, but the longest part is probably going to be this, just me yapping for a long time, because we have a lot of catching up to do. But anyways, so Fairbank is an honest-to-goodness ghost town. Unlike Tombstone, which a lot of people, what's the word I'm looking for? They misterm as a ghost town. That's not even a word. I'm so rusty at this. They mislabel Tombstone as a ghost town, and it is not a ghost town. Tombstone is just a town that maintains its Old West heritage, but it is very much still lived in. Many people still live and work and go to school in Tombstone, but this town of Fairbank is an honest-to-goodness ghost town. Nobody lives here, nobody works here, and all that's left, I believe, are the decayed ruins of the town that was once here. Now, despite being right off of the Highway 82, which I confirmed, that is correct, the town is set aback from the road a little bit. There is a bit of hiking through this desolate wilderness. So just in case, there are creepy crawlies and things that do live out here. So I have worn my boots today, which I normally don't. All covered in paint splatter. I recently went paintballing with a bunch of voice actors. That's a story for another day. Although again, I did tell it on my live stream every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. All right, that's enough plugging. Let's go see what's going on here. Now, there is a schoolhouse that this place is renowned for. I believe you can normally go inside the schoolhouse if you come here on a weekend. Today is a Monday, and unfortunately, if you can't tell by the heavy breathing, I'm coming down with something a little bit. And so I wasn't able to come back out yesterday. And Saturday we spent the whole day in Bisbee, and then I went out to Tombstone to meet up with a friend of mine and have dinner with him. And that was a good time. And that's when I started coming down with something. And so yesterday I decided to just kind of take the day off and relax indoors. But look, we're already here. There is a walk-in gate. That gate's closed. That gate is not. Well, actually, there's a walk-in area right here. All right, I was just reading some of the information over here on this board, and what I was thinking was correct, but I didn't want to misspeak before putting out information. But yeah, this was one of the main train hubs for Tombstone, as the railroad never actually went through Tombstone. So when they were shipping out their silver and things like that, they would haul the silver up here to Fairbank, and then from Fairbank they would load it on the train to send it to whence it needed to go. But apparently this keeps going for a while. There's a cemetery and things, so we've got all kinds of stuff to look at, but a lot of this stuff is still preserved old buildings from when people used to actually live here. Let's go check it out. Let's go see in here. And they were very, very serious about warning about the venomous animals. This is some sort of a stable at one point, maybe? Very interesting. It's always interesting when you come across wood that smells old. You know what I mean? Oh, this is definitely some sort of a place for animals. The old, it's Miller time. This was a stable of some sort. This is a well. Been filled in for now. Now it's a well knot. All right, look, I'm rusty, okay? Look at this. Look at this. The desert in America, it's like the Australia of this country. Look, everything's trying to kill you. I don't know if I'm not getting a very good focus on this, but like everything here is trying to kill you. This thing is just covered in thorns. I'm trying to get it to focus. It doesn't want to. Let me see if I can. Here, let me poke myself with it. There, you can see the indentation on my finger. There we go. It focused for like a second. Moving on. So I'm assuming this shed also had something to do with animal care. Oh, no. It's definitely people care. This is the place for pooping. This is the place for pooping. I don't think I've ever actually seen a authentic Old West outhouse before. The things we get to experience together. Yeah. I like how they propped one up just so you could see inside. What sort of things did the cowboys poop out back in the day? Looks like rocks, apparently. You can see over here, like on this windowsill, and even on this little banister type thing, just pieces of glass and metal, some very, very old. And pottery and all sorts of stuff that they found in the area. You're not allowed to take any of this. All right, they want to preserve it. But a lot of this stuff is historical by American standards. Chances of it being from the 1800s, very, very high. Nothing to see over here. A lot of barbed wire, also probably authentic. Ooh, look it. They got an old safe in there. And some more modern tools. I guess they're trying to refurb some things. More modern cinder blocks and things. I wonder if that bulletin board there is old, however. More modern planter's jar. There are some things in here, though. It'd be neat to see. Little drawers and stuff. And now, what is this? Can we just take a moment to appreciate this right here? Just silence. There are some cars coming down the highway here soon that are about to disrupt my peace. But it is like needle drop quiet. I haven't heard quiet like this in an awful long time. It's kind of lovely. This looks more like an actual house. You can see kind of the remnants of an old cabinet. Let's see if I can get the thing to focus better. Don't focus on the window, focus on what's inside the window. Anyways, old cabinetry. Another old cabinetry. However, there is a water heater in there, and obviously those came after the Old West times, but still. Oh my goodness. These, look at these doors. Those look, oh man, hard to tell. There we go. They look almost exactly like the kind of doors we used to have in my grandmother's house. But I actually grew up in one of those old San Francisco Victorian houses. It was my grandmother's house. And like you'd see in the opening of Full House. And so she pretty much did nothing to update that house very much, short of, see, look at, gotta be careful. She didn't do much to update that house, short of put on like an addition and a couple other things, change out the balcony, the stairs when they went rickety and stuff. But for the most part, like the doors are original, all the, what do you call it? The molding and stuff was all original, the popcorn ceiling, all of that. And so, so all this is kind of nostalgic to me because, yeah, she held on to a lot of that. We sold the house recently, so I don't know if the new owners are trying to keep any of that. Probably not. But that was kind of neat. Look at this. Definitely a house, a fairly sizable house, too. A water pump right here, too. And you can see how it's kind of shifted over the years, too. Right? They're doing their best to try and keep it level, but I'm guessing that's why you can't go in there anymore. Probably very unsafe and rickety. Oops. As we almost break the old glass on here. All right, time to run. Time to run. Places like this are so normal for some people. They just come out here to hike. This is the schoolhouse they kept touting at the front. I guess it's also doubles as the gift shop now, so it's one of the few buildings that's intact enough to still use, but unfortunately it is closed. It's like a gift shop / museum, I believe. So, but oh well, not today. I guess they have like events and stuff here. You can come out here and have barbecues and whatnot. So, I mean, it's a park. It's a state park. Oh, here we go. Check this out. I didn't even realize this is right off the highway. The highway is right there, and you would just drive right past this without ever even knowing it. The Fairbank Post Office. So call me crazy, but this kind of looks like a train stop right here. Right? This old awning right here? Or it's a stagecoach stop, one or the other. This town was known for both. Like I said, anybody heading to Tombstone, or pretty much any of the other mining towns out here in Arizona, had to come through here. Apparently this was quite the hopping place back in the day. Like they were the place that had luxury hotels, fine dining, they had exotic foods because of it being a train stop. They had a lot of access to things that could be delivered by train, so things that you probably wouldn't find anywhere else. The reason why I'm not stopping to read a lot of these placards on camera is because they don't really have a lot to do with the actual buildings you're looking at while you're reading them. It's more just general history. I guess if you walk in a certain order, you kind of get like a historical timeline. But they don't actually explain too much about the actual buildings you're looking at. So, like, I don't know what this brown shed is here next to the post office. The only reason why I even know that's a post office because they very kindly repainted the sign so that it doesn't fade. Who knows what that is? But as we continue our journey, please remember, watch out for snakes. Once in my life have I seen actual live rattlesnakes out in the wild. It was actually in Southern California. We were just taking a hike, like a normal hike on a paved like pathway. But it does go up through like some hills and mountains and things. And we heard some shuffling in the bushes just kind of off to the side. And there were two rattlesnakes, kind of just cavorting. I don't know what they were doing, but they were just together, slithering around in the bushes. I'm sure that's a euphemism for something, probably. Maybe not. Well, this looks vastly different compared to the other side. I would assume maybe back in the day this is more of what it looked like, or is this just the spackling that falls off and this is all you're left with? I don't know how they made buildings back then, actually. I always just figured they're all made out of wood. Is this a jail, or are those bars to just keep people out? Look at that. I don't know, and then you can see how it's falling off, too. I was right the second time. As usual. Gold! There it is. No, wait, no. That's poop. Reading a placard. Apparently, the post office was just known generally as the Fairbanks Commercial Building. It was then closed, and next to it used to be what was called the Montezuma Hotel, which is a pretty cool name for a hotel. And I guess that got knocked down. This, I'm getting some ominous Sleepy Hollow vibes in here, I'm going to be honest. The sounds of the highway being the only thing grounding me to reality right now, because this is a little freaky. This is a little freaky. I want to make sure... Hang on. Yeah, that's what I thought. We're going to take a different path. There's multiple branching paths out here. Not unlike Road to Empress, which you can watch me play every... Just kidding. But I want to get to the cemetery and the mill while there's still time. Most national parks, this place closes at sunset, and they will lock you in. I have a flight to catch in the morning, so I cannot risk that, and I'm not walking distance to the hotel. We'll say that, so I don't want to get locked in here. So we got to make this as quick as possible. So supposedly this path I'm on right now is the fastest path to get to the cemetery and the old mill. Dear God, I hope so. This path is also a lot less ominous looking. So I was reading, everywhere we go, we're going to just run into like all these old pieces of like tin cans and wiring and stuff. Anyways, apparently in the early 1900s, the land that the town sits on was bought out by some large cattle company. And they were pretty much evicting all the people out of their houses. And they didn't take too kindly to that, as you can imagine. So apparently, as before people left, they would knock down their own homes with sledgehammers, which is why most of the buildings in this town are now gone. Oh, also that little brown building I found out next to the post office is just a small house, or at least that's what it was labeled on a map. It was just labeled as small house. Butterfly. Let's see what else. Oh, there's something up ahead. I don't know what this thing is, but it is big and it is metal. I'm not about to go in there to inspect. Someone's probably made that little disc its home. But again, a lot of things came through this town to be shipped and or processed. Obviously a lot of silver out here from the Dragoon Mountains in the neighboring areas, so who knows. But all kinds of stuff you can tell used to be here. Look, here's a concrete, it's like a brick pillar of some sort. You can even see little bits of rebar or whatever sticking out of the top of it. Seems to me, best as I can figure, this town, I know I keep taking my sunglasses on and off, this town lasted about into the 1920s-ish. Was when the final residents probably evacuated the AO, as it were. I'm only guessing because I've seen some photos that were showing kids in the schoolhouse, and it said it was in the 1920s. So that's my guess. You can see out there an old boiler of some sort. Look at. It's nothing. It's not even any birds. Not even any birds. Now, according to my buddy Chris Stifler, who lives out here, this place is supposed to be fairly haunted as well. Like everybody knows, Tombstone's very well known for its violent past and things. I did just see a bird, even though they don't. It's so quiet here, I could hear its wings flapping, and that's the only reason why I knew there was a bird there. Tombstone, of course, is known for its violent past and shootings and all kinds of things. But apparently this town, of course, saw its fair share of people. Again, a lot of the same people that passed through Tombstone had to pass through here first. So this place was going to see a bit of action as well. What is that? Just a bench? You have to like go off the path, right? Like here's the path, right? Very path-like. Very path-like, and then go off the path to that. I ain't going out there. I'll stand. I'll keep standing. Fine by me. Also, when I switch around to selfie camera, if there is a bit of glare, I do apologize. Hi, butterfly. I do apologize. I dropped my phone recently, and so now there is a very significant crack that's going directly down the middle of the selfie camera lens. So while the crack itself doesn't show up on the video, the glare and the refraction of the light does. Well, I can understand why you'd want the cemetery to be a little bit removed from town, but this is way out there. Oh, things are getting ominous again. Trees are growing tall overhead. But, just notice this off to the side. Notice how there's just like a very like oddly placed clearing right here in the middle of the woods here. Trees knocked over and stuff, and that's really flat and green. How much you want to bet there used to be a house there? Because again, like they said, this was once a happening place. Fairbank was the place to be. You kind of got the best of all the worlds. You got the wildness of the mining towns with all the amenities of a big city. Now reduced to not much else. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the place where Johnny Cage fights Scorpion in the first Mortal Kombat movie. I don't know. This is like the kind of perfect area for like a rack focus for all you cinephiles out there. Although that usually means there's a ghost at the other end of the path. So maybe we don't rack focus. Don't rack focus here. Some more clearings over there. I'm not like 100% alone out here. There's the lady with the dog, obviously. There's been a couple other hikers as well, mostly older folk. The sun keeps dipping in and out from behind the clouds. Oh, do I keep putting these back on? The way this path is made, like it makes it feel like it's just taken forever. It just goes on and on and on because it's just like a tunnel of trees. Oh, there's another bench here. At least this one's on the side of the road. Oops. I did not mean for that turn. I guess it accomplished what I needed. But yeah, so I'm not completely alone, so don't worry for me. Granted, I've only seen like maybe 3 sets of hikers, including the lady with the dog, so it's not that it's super crowded or anything. but also not completely desolate. And I'm assuming at some point the rangers got to come and close up the gates. Again, not that I want to be here that long, but anyways, we're just enjoying nature, getting some exercise, even though I'm sick as a dog. Oh God, can you imagine how many ticks live in that tall grass? There's another clearing in that tall. What is that? Whatever it is, it's on the way to the cemetery. It looks like pipe. It looks fairly modern, though, no? Cemetery's on this way. Oh, cool. No, that totally... That totally looks like not haunted pathway in the midst of a dying forest. Yeah, not at all. Everything's gonna be fine. Alright, it opened up again. The only problem with this now is all these low-lying bushes that you see. Rattlesnakes love these things. And the big issue there is that I've heard from more than a few sources, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe this is just misinformation that is spread across the internet, but apparently rattlesnakes are evolving to no longer rattle when they're going to attack, so that they can become more of a silent killer, which, that's great. Oh, I think this is the cemetery up this hill, because that definitely looks like a plot up there. You see that? I bet you that's the case. We're probably going to loop up around this hill. Oh yeah, it looks like the path's going up this hill. Oh boy. That mountain looks like a butt. And we've made it to the top. This is evident by my heavy breathing. So there's the cemetery. We'll go check that out in a second, but look at this. Just got a view of the entire surrounding area. And quite honestly, if it wasn't for the electricity poles, you can get a little bit of the road down there. You'd almost feel exactly like the old Southwest pioneers and cattle drivers and everybody else who came through here when there was nothing. Pun intended, but it is quiet as the grave out here. They have provided modern amenities for those of us who may be struggling to breathe just a little bit. Let's go through here and walk what I guess would technically be Fairbanks' boot hill. This is clearly somebody's resting place, but Lord only knows. Lost to time at this point. Pretty sure this here right as well. Now with the desert, obviously the ground is really solid. It's mostly clay under here. So especially without modern excavation equipment, they couldn't really dig the graves that deeply. And so they would make more shallow graves and then pile rocks on top so that critters and things couldn't dig them back up. So that's why you see a lot of these rock mounds here. And it looks like that's all that's left. Unlike Boot Hill, which has gone out of its way to kind of preserve the markers and things. And that's a whole other story, Boot Hill. The current Boot Hill is not actually Boot Hill. That's a story for another day, though. But at least the people that are buried there are buried there. And they've done their best to kind of maintain markers so you know who's buried where, assuming they know. But even like right here, clearly somebody's here. A lot of people's last... Oh, this is that thing we saw from down below on the path. Family burial of some sort. And again, none of these have any of their original markings whatsoever. There used to be something here. They even tried to make it last long, make it out of metal, and even then, just the harsh desert environment, the sandstorms, the monsoons, and all that. Nothing can really last here forever. That's why it's a wonder any of those buildings are still standing. It's only through the preservation efforts of whatever local organizations are maintaining these places that they're still here. Look at, they'll do everything they can. Don't worry, there's a path here. I'm not walking all over anybody's grave, I'm not desecrating the graves. But you can see they did their best to make them stand out and maybe last a little bit longer, but in the end, to no avail. Yeah, who knows if I would have been able to live stream from way the heck out here. Look at this, I'm in the middle of nowhere. This actually goes on for further than I thought it was going to. Again, rock mound. Rock mound. 2 stakes there just to mark that someone's there. Just the tiniest suggestion of a trail going through here. You can see all the more man-made carved wood as opposed to just the dry rotting pieces of wood. So something was here. Oh, because here's a space. That's the other good thing I would say about the practice of piling stones on top of the burial sites, is that at the very least, those will definitely last, and we will know someone was there. Though their names long forgotten, their sites still stand the test of time. I wonder if anybody has a record of the people who are buried here. That would be interesting to see. And the sun's coming back out again. Looks like somebody found some pieces of glass they placed on this makeshift cross. As I was walking, I did come across a few pieces of like pottery and things. So, ooh, we've got a couple markers. Angelita something. Mars. I'm going to be honest, this is actually easier to read if I look into the phone than if I look in my own eyes. Mars de la something. 1918, it looks like. This one's way more better preserved. And again, easier to read on the phone. And it's in Spanish, too. Nació Felix. What? What is that? Braciola? Murió? And there's a date. So born Felix Braciola, died, I can't read the rest of that, but he was born, what's that, the 10th? The 10th of something, and died in March. Hard to tell. Maybe somebody else can read that better than I can. Cacti, according to one of my friends, you can eat these. I have no idea. Keeps going. Ow! Stupid. Everything wants to kill you here. Look at this. Look how many pricklies are on this damn thing. But I want to come and look at this. Don't prickle me. That headstone is long eroded. This one, however, a little bit better. Clearly people have been here recently, leaving money. 1899. This is Ellison, wife of M.B. McCullough. Died February 5th, I think. 1899. Or 25th, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of visitors, though. I see a lot of people leaving stones and coins on the headstone. A lot of people come out here. I mean, people clearly come through hiking and whatnot. I don't know if we should try for the old mill. Let's see how much further it is. This goes on way more than I thought it was going to. I'm not quite sure what to expect when we came out here. Oh, except I was certainly not expecting to get tangled up. Let go. And my hoodie. Look at how did it get so tangled? How does this even happen? Let go. Stupid wilderness. Go on my stuff. It's an arch. I have to walk under this in order to get into here. Alright. I'm here. Oh, looks like the remains of a headstone. Also the remains of like a guard of some sort. Oh boy, I don't know if this is a step-up path or if I'm walking over somebody's grave. I apologize. I mean no disrespect. This is one of the more intact cast iron fences they got here. Look at that. No headstone though. This is, you know, a lot of us, we think about like our last resting places being in some well-maintained green lawn cemetery, right, where people can kind of come and go. Like we did at Hollywood Forever, right? Like that's the kind of place I think a lot of us would be like, oh yeah, that's where I want my final resting place to be, so people can come and see me. You know, they've got a very nice mausoleum and a cathedral and all that kind of stuff. And these people out here, this harsh environment, they just buried them close enough, but far enough away from town that they wouldn't get spooked by it. Looks like I came across some kind of old tin can. Normally not that interesting, right? But out here in the middle of nowhere, I've been walking for a while now since the cemetery. So who knows how old it actually is. It could be more modern than the old West mining times, but hey, got my fingers in the frame. That's got to count for something. I've been walking for a while now. While I have seen a lot more clearings for buildings and things, like areas that obviously used to have some sort of property built on them, I have yet to come across this mill that it said was past the cemetery. One thing I will say, I think I started talking about it earlier, is my friend Chris had stated that this place is reportedly supposed to be fairly freaking haunted. And coming down from the cemetery reminded me of that. And some more metal sheeting there. Till what? Who knows? And while I will say I haven't necessarily seen or experienced anything weird here, I will say there is an odd feeling in the air. It's like this weird, you can see the glare going on there. It makes a neat effect, I will say. There's just kind of this weird dreamlike out-of-body feeling that I'm having while I'm here. And I don't know if it's just that I'm out of shape. Probably not. I've been moving around a lot. It's still post-haunt season. Or just something else in the air. An energy. Oh, I wonder if this is it. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there's some placards up ahead, but you can see there definitely used to be some sort of a huge structure built right into the side of the hill here. See if we can get a closer look. Okay, yeah. This was it, the Grand Central Mill. Used to break silver ore and rock that came down from Tombstone. And there is actually a nice, lovely path built here. So right now we'd be inside the mill, as this right here makes up what remains of the back wall of that building we just saw a photo of. There used to be a lot of hard, manly work going on in here. Bringing down silver all the way down from the mines all around Tombstone out to here, and about a bunch of like 50 other processing mills to smash the rock into silver ore and have it shipped off to wherever it was going. Back when it was still a lucrative business. Even here, this is probably a part of it, some sort of a chute, it looks like. What's left of it anyway. Hard to see, but there's even a hole. There. I thought it was a spider web. A hole in the wall there. Who knows why? Maybe there was some sort of piping in there. But it looks like you can go up these levels. People seem to have cleared a path up there. Be careful up here. There are burrows and all kinds of things that I've been seeing, so who knows what's been living in those holes. We don't know. We don't want to know. But here we are atop that first wall. Get a pretty good view from up here as well. Again, just total silence. Nothing but us and what little nature there is out here. I can't even hear the highway anymore. Not that it was all that traffic to begin with, but this is kind of cool. Who knows, however this was left behind? Maybe, I don't know if the building was demolished by man or demolished by nature. Clearly there's not a lot of rubble left short of this wall, but there are still pieces of metal work and things. This looks like it was smashed by this rock at some point. Little rusted pieces of metal and things everywhere, so who knows how much they left intact and how much of it was just reclaimed by nature. There's just sheets of metal everywhere. Some rebar there for the walls. And you can see it still goes up another 2 stories maybe. You can see where people definitely have tried to traverse all the way up there. There is also some sort of a formation maybe for a flume or something. Not a flume, but like a chimney flute or something. I don't think I'm going to risk it. As it is, sun's getting mighty low. Maybe time to head on out. Good place to end it. Phone's running out of memory anyways. If you're watching this for the first time, hi Twitch. Twitch got the first view on this video. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. I doubt I'll really be coming back to YouTube regularly in any capacity. But if there are things that I just can't stream for whatever reason due to internet limitations, I will most likely make a video. Maybe I'll be more prepared this time than to just bring my personal normal phone with very limited memory. But anyways, it's gonna do it from out here in Fairbank, Arizona. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I stream here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, mostly video game playthroughs and things, or on Twitch, or on Kick, or on TikTok. Yeah, I do that thing too. So, wherever your heart desires to watch me fall off this retaining wall. Anyways, I'm gonna go now, everybody. I got a long walk back to the car. Thanks for watching. How did we used to do this? Oh, that's right. Keep on running and jumping. Maybe we'll see you again. Now I do need to be careful as I'm heading back into the Johnny Cage v Scorpion wood line here. I just saw pass up amongst the tree line like the biggest freaking coyote. Way bigger than the scrawny ones we have down in SoCal, so I am prepared. We'll say that much, just in case. But if this is my final will and testament, don't touch my stuff.